Like usual, last minute bike purchase. Ryan just gave me a call. He found a 21 YZ125 on Facebook. Back into the big bike game as he's only ridden pit bikes for like the past 2 years since he sold his Yamaha 250. Some straps thanks to TorqueShop.com. I'll leave the link below if you want to check out the best dirt bike straps in the game right now. All my straps are currently frozen in the back of my truck.
You see Mike got a 450.
It's kind of a cool little dealership.
Grab the pipe? Yeah. Yeah, here, hold the bike. I'll go grab it.
It's definitely been, I mean, you can tell by how much gruesome. It's gonna need a little work for sure, but
I plan on going through it.
you know, well, it'll be clean once it's done for sure. Little vapor hone, get this thing all cleaned up. Come on, man. Ryan's back in the game.
I'm gonna start with God help me.
I'm gonna slip on this tailgate.
Yeah, I got it.
Got it. Cool.
Thanks, man.
You take it easy. You can pull it. It'll keep going all the way. It'll lock it. See? All right. They can't come undone.
These straps are badass.
Oh yeah, these straps are badass, brother. TorqueStrap.com. That bike isn't going anywhere. All right. Day one, Ryan just popped by to check this thing out. Actually, take a good look at it and give it a little test ride.
And
took it down the street.
Clutch cable, as soon as I left the driveway, snaps.
30 seconds in, snapped. So we're off to a great start with this thing. It's gonna get full tear down. This thing's gonna look brand new when we're done with it. Full coatings, vapor hone, the normal deal. We'll call it a semi-budget YZ125 build. So much for test riding this thing, but it's not terrible. It's a 2021. It's a little beat for a 21.
His definition of beat. I know. Like, that's not beat.
Talking about like the wheels and stuff like this.
Dude,
yours
I'm
were
you, mine
used
was
more.
way worse than that.
No.
That's normal. That's like not bad at all.
That's normal wear.
That's normal.
Thing's been raced hard.
Is Holic open?
It's been
Were you
raised
By
hard.
18.
Whew.
All right.
Here it is, YZ125 budget build. Just throw it on like this. All right, we're gonna split this up. Ryan and I are gonna tear this thing down. We're gonna do a before and after. So the next time you see this build video is gonna be when it's fully done up. It's like semi-budget build, you call it? What do you think? We're gonna go out. He says a budget build right now, but it's gonna be full out. It's gonna be sick when it's done. So next video you see probably in a month, 2 months, it's gonna be fully back together, completely redone, and it's gonna look sick. So I'm gonna dive into the CR, get that torn down, and then I'm gonna start tearing the thing down and getting after it today. Quickly before we get into the rest of the video, once again, I want to thank Onyx Off-Road for sponsoring this video. So if you haven't heard of Onyx Off-Road, I'll pull up the app right here. So Onyx Off-Road allows you to find new trails near you, new riding spots. Everybody likes a new riding spot. So on their app right here, you can kind of zoom around wherever you're located and you can see the little pinpoints on trails that you can go explore. So taking a look in the app and moving around, I can kind of pinpoint what spot I want to find. In spirit to me still wanting to be in Florida in the warmer weather. So I'll pick a spot right here on the map, right by Orlando. The app allows you to pick those trails, see pictures from people that have actually been there, gives you a little rundown, kind of a description of the trails, what to expect, what you're gonna get into so you can prepare for it, along with showing the weather and everything like that if you guys are on a road trip and you're just stopping through. So say you pinpoint this one trail, then you can see all the trails surrounding there. The app is actually really cool, and Onyx Off-Road also offers a couple different features if you're not just trying to find trails to ride. If you don't have service on your phone, they have offline maps and navigation, so you don't have to worry if you don't have cell service. On the app, it allows you to see public land and boundaries so you can kind of know where you're allowed to camp. Property line of somebody's land, so you're making sure you're not on their land and you're just on the marked Onyx off-road trails that somebody's been to. But like I said, the app itself has a ton of different features aside from just the riding aspect and finding new trails. If you're interested to save a little bit of money, you can use my discount code Tyler20 for 20% off your membership on Onyx Off-Road. Thank you to Onyx for sponsoring this video. All right, I'm back with the first CR125 CR250 build video. I don't know why I said 125. I'm so used to building 125. Plan today is strip it down. I got a new vapor honing tool, or a new vapor honing gun, which should make my life a lot easier. New gun and tip should run better because my air compressor normally runs the entire time. I'm just gonna test that thing out thanks to How To Motorcycle Repair. If you guys wanna check it out when you have a vapor honer, I'll leave it linked below in the description. If you guys are new and you wanna see this CR250 take shape and look brand new, better than new, make sure you're subscribed. I'm gonna start with all the main stuff first, leave the wheels and tires on so I can still move this thing around if I need to. If you missed the first video of me picking this thing up, I'll leave a link below or have it in the corner right here if you wanna check that out. Camera probably makes it look bigger than what it is. I got the 110 in the corner, which I gotta tear apart. I have just enough space to walk around the bike. X250 build still torn down. I'm waiting to get that cylinder back still. All the 2 strokes should be running and good to go for the spring. For now, we got 4 or 5 more months of winter before I'm able to ride anything. Let's get into it, start tearing this thing down. Hopefully there's no surprises. Sure there's going to, because that's how it is with every bike build. All right, and like that, we got the motor taken out. I did it in a weird order. We have bad news. Like every bike build, I feel like it would explain why the oil was leaking under the motor the next day after I bought it. This is just how the bike builds go. As you can see, there's a lot of oil built up on the cases. The cases are cracked, or at least it looks like just the right case is cracked. Looks like they tried to JB weld it. I'm gonna have to find a new case or maybe get the cases fixed. Not sure if I can even find cases for an 02 CR250. Either they're gonna be really expensive, I won't be able to find it, or I might have to send it out and get it repaired and fixed up. Of course, like I said before I even tore this thing down, I was gonna have some surprise. That's how it goes, and that's what you get yourself into buying used bikes and rebuilding them all the time. It is what it is. Let me get this cleaned up and see how bad it actually is. See what this new gun can do. I'm gonna try with this tip first and then switch to the other one, see what I like better. Side-by-side difference. This tip right here, it kind of just widely blasts it and you can't really get too detailed with it. Right out with the old, in with the new. I'm actually really excited to see how this thing does. Due for a new compressor too, one that isn't super loud like mine. A bigger tank because that thing is constantly running. All right, cool, we are good to go. Let's try this thing out. The first test round, see what this thing can do. sure how well you're gonna be able to see this, but just from this tip that I have on there, night and day difference from the previous gun. You can see I did a little test run right here. Not running perfect either. There's not like a ton of media coming out because it's so cold in here. The media is like clumped up. It's not sucking through the system right. That's how it would be 24/7 with the other gun, so. That's the first time it's kicked on in like 10 minutes. Now that I tested this tip, I'm gonna swap it out for the other one and see if it makes a difference. The difference between the two, I was just using the smaller one. Looks like at the bottom of that thing, look at all the media built up in the corner. It's so cold in here, it's probably like gooped up and it can't flow through the system. I'm trying to get it flowing again. This nozzle, game changer. This is the one I'm probably gonna use all the time. Night and day difference. It's really hard to film this because it's so smoky in there from all the hot water. Probably blast for another 10 minutes and then I'll show you what we're working with and kind of the before and after. There's a little before and after. The machine is not running right. It's not flowing media through the tubes for it to have a consistent flow because it's so gummed up. A couple things of hot water in there, but it didn't fix it, so I'm gonna have to drain it and do that and let it sit for a little bit. The way it's working a little bit, you can see the before and after. Definitely a big difference from that alone. We're in business now. Get that thing dialed in. Right, this thing's been sitting here long enough. Let's get it finally completely torn down. Get some parts thrown in the vapor honer. Get this suspension sent out to get coated up. We can finally finish this thing up by spring. So I'm gonna dive into it. There's really not much now that I got the engine already out in a couple videos back. I think it's gonna get like a retro kind of OEM new look. It's gonna look better than new when it's done here like all my other builds. Let's get into it, start ripping this thing apart. All right, quick and easy like that. Got this thing completely torn down to the frame. Ready to get this thing all vapor honed up, all cleaned up. This thing's pretty dirty, but it makes for a better before and after once it gets rebuilt up and everything's clean. Forks and shock shipped out, get it coated, all rebuilt, get to work vapor honing over here for the next couple of days on both these builds. Decide what I want to powder coat, and then hopefully in the next month or so, get this thing rebuilt up. Next thing is tear down the motor, split the cases, get this case sent out so it can get repaired because it's JB welded. As you can tell right here, it's pretty janky, so can't have this thing going back together all JB welded. I'm gonna start on this tomorrow. I'm gonna end the video here. Like I said, if you wanna see this thing take shape, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next build video.